inspired by secular music, so I don't feel like there is a problem listening to secular music because like music is music wherever it is, man. But honestly, if we're going to come down to a biblical standard.
Salute. This is Eshawn Burgundy. Right now, you're in the field with the Trackstarz. Yeah.
All right, back in the field with the Trackstarz. Ryan Righteous, SEANTANA, DJ Jeremiah. We got Byron Juwan in the building.
What's good?
All right, so noteworthy. All right, so people are writing in anonymous letters. This was actually not necessarily a letter. This is a topic suggestion, but we'll kind of do it the same way. So, because they're not anonymous. I know who this is. All right, so a question I would like discussed on the show would be, is it okay to be listening to secular hip-hop as a Christian? I want to listen to CHH a lot more, and I tend to, but I still find myself listening to secular hip-hop. The lyrics obviously aren't giving glory to God, so I wonder what are the pros and cons in regards to listening to secular hip-hop as a Christian. Thanks for your videos, as I love watching them, and they have helped a lot hearing other brothers and sisters in Christ talking real topics. Bless you guys, and thank you for what you do. All right. Listening to secular hip-hop as a Christian, what do you think?
Honestly, bro, I think it's up to your convictions. Like, okay, I'm gonna say that, but I also think like I feel like God made art. Like He made creative beings, and we're the creative beings, and people make art just to make art.
Yep.
And I feel like people, like a lot of us as CHH artists, whether we want to admit it or not, we get inspired by secular music. So I don't feel like there is a problem listening to secular music because like music is music wherever it is, man. But honestly, if we're going to come down to a biblical standpoint, I feel like it's based upon your convictions. So if you feel bad about listening to it, maybe you shouldn't. But I mean, if you're like, okay, I can deal with this, you should do it.
Yeah, so this is kind of my take on it. I don't listen to... Well, I'm kind of a bad case. I don't listen to music that often anyway. I'm more listening to podcasts because I'm trying to learn stuff to help us here. But I hear songs, like, so if something comes out, I'll listen to it. So if you just mean like listening to it at all, then yeah, I mean that's gonna happen. But I do think though, if you marinate on songs that aren't godly, that could cause a problem. So when I was younger, I think I was around 18. I noticed that my behavior was a little weird. You know, like inside your own head, you think you're right about everything. But then you start getting glimpses of how you appear to other people. And I started noticing that I was thinking the wrong way about certain things. And that happens every now and then where God will kind of flip the mirror on me and help me realize like what's going on inside. And usually it's because I've been listening to or watching a lot of stuff. And I soak up things, right? So if I watch a movie, like that movie is like in my head the rest of the day. Like I soak in content. So for me, I decided just to make sure that the music wasn't gripping me, like it wasn't taking me. I took a year off of music. A year. I didn't listen to I didn't listen to anything. Like not even Christian music, but if I did, it was Christian, and I did it for a year. Not because it's wrong to listen to secular music, but I just wanted to make sure that my heart was clean. Like nothing was influencing me that I wasn't aware of. What that did though was after that year, I was able to go back and hear stuff or listen to the new whatever that came out. But you can feel when your heart is tilting to something. And so whenever I feel that tilt, I'm like, okay, can't do it now. You know what I'm saying? Like it's too much. I'm hearing too much cursing. I'm hearing too much opinions that aren't necessarily godly. They make sense, but they're not godly. You know, that kind of thing. And that stuff can kind of get lodged inside of you, and you may not realize it. So that's the only danger I see is if you marinate on things that aren't godly constantly. You may need to do a heart check every now and then just to make sure you're not being influenced unknowingly. I agree. You know, because influence isn't always obvious. It may be, I may notice like, man, I've been really thinking about myself a little bit too much recently. What I want and what I think and getting credit for stuff. Or I may like, something may happen and a curse word may pop into my mind. I didn't say it, but it came first. Like why that come first? You know what I mean? I don't know if you just sit around like when music kind of comes to your head, what song is it? You know, like, obviously, that song gripped me in a way. Like I remember there was I don't even listen to this song, but I heard it once. It was Bruno Mars. What was the one? it was a song we actually did a dissect on, where we broke it down, and he's talking about godly things, but it's not. Locked Out of Heaven. He's talking about how sex is like, you know, heaven to him. And that song was just kept playing in my head. I'm like, yo, stop. Stop. I don't need that right now. That's not good right now.
Right.
So, so that's my suggestion is take some inventory sometimes and see if that is being stuck in your head. Now, as an artist, and I know you're an artist as well, we do have to listen to some stuff to make sure, especially for me, when I'm mixing a record, I'll pull up a song that's hot and make sure I'm in the same range. Right. Like, clearly this is doing well, so let me see if I'm in the same ballpark. Right. So that's kind of, a lot of it is research. But then, I know me, I can use that as an excuse. Right. I can say, oh, well, you know, I'm an artist, I'm trying to do it. Right. It's an excuse. So I would just be careful. It is based on conviction. It is based on what you can handle. If somebody else next to you it may not bother them. Right. You may be bothered. Right. So just because they can do it, you may not be able to do it. But even if you can handle it, take breaks and make sure it's not influencing. That's my take on it. What you think?
Yeah, I feel you.
So I don't know where his head is. I don't know if this is just like, sometimes people write stuff in because they have an opinion about it, and they want us to like back them up. You know, like they're in an argument, like, let me ask the Trackstarz, and like, oh, they didn't agree with me. So I don't know if it's just that kind of thing, or if he's wondering. Right. And I think you said something that was key. If you feel guilty at all, like, sin in the Bible isn't just don't do this, don't do that. And Paul kind of described it as anything you're unsure about, that's sin for you. Right. If you're not sure that God is happy with this, don't do it. Don't do it. So that's kind of what it is, and don't use other people as barometers for what you should be doing.
Right, because everybody's different, bro.
Exactly, like, exactly. So I do have a theory about this. I'm not sure because, you know, Ryan has everybody has like a conviction for something in particular. Like Ryan is like really sensitive to cursing and using God in curses, like GD and this and that. Like when he hears it, it's like
it just cringes.
It's like he cringes him, right? Whereas like I don't know, I'm not sure about Jeremiah. Maybe it's violence or nudity or sex or whatever. Where there's something where it's like that I can't do that. You know, I wonder though. This is just a question. Go ahead. Is the conviction thing even an excuse? Like if I say, oh, I can, you know, people know this. I watch Family Guy. Think it's hilarious. All right? So I know it's not good, it's not. But it's hilarious to me. And I'm like, well, it don't bother me, so I'm good. Right. But I wonder if everybody has a different conviction because everybody has a piece of what God feels about that thing. Right. Like, I should also be angry about that, but he gave Ryan a glimpse of what he feels about that. Right. He gave me a glimpse of I hate violence. Like whenever there's a movie where there's like excessive violence, Saw, even in Training Day when they're like letting them up. It's like when it's too much, like overkill, like that bothers me inside. Right. And maybe he gave me a taste of what he feels about that, and he gave you a taste of what he feels. And what if we're all supposed to put them together and be like, "This is how God feels about all of it"?
Maybe we shouldn't do that.
I don't know. Right. I'm just asking. I'm just wondering.
I've never thought about that.
And maybe we're just making excuses for ourselves, and maybe we think it's not bothering us, but deep down it is
actually gnawing at you.
And he gave you that conviction to show me,
like, maybe this should bother me.
So I don't know.
That's dope.
But I do think though, at the end of the day, one problem that CHH has had is that we have developed this us versus them mentality. We're part of it too. You know, line for line, it's kind of like a us versus them. Right. But these are people just like us. Like, we're not better than them. Right. You know, we're just trying to share with them a God that is awesome. It's not like we did anything to deserve it, right? So we really do have to be careful not to otherize a lot of people. But at the same time, guarding your heart. I mean, that's really it. It's like, just because you're guarding your heart doesn't mean that person is other. Right. You know? So, yeah. So there's I think nothing is really neat and clean, but I think that's kind of, if you lean too far to, no, I can't do this, God is going to challenge you on that. Exactly. If you lean too far to, I could do whatever I want, God's going to challenge you on that. And so wherever your heart is, take notice of that, because he's trying to tell you something specific. You know? Agree. So hopefully that helps, man. I know that didn't really answer anything, but it'll get you thinking. All right? All right, you in the field with the Trackstarz. Ryan Righteous, SEANTANA, DJ Jeremiah. Let go!